Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas. Same name, different worlds. One side is older, louder, full of momentum. The other, quieter, often overlooked, but changing fast. If you're relocating to KC, the side you choose will shape everything. Your schools, your commute, your home price, and your lifestyle. And trust me, they're not as interchangeable as they look on a map. In this video, we're breaking down the key differences between KC Mo and KCK, what each side does better, where they fall short, and which one might be the right fit for you. Because choosing the right side of the state line might be the most important move you make. Now, before we dive in, be sure to grab our free relocation guide linked below. It's packed with neighborhood breakdowns and key questions to ask before you decide where to move. If you're not from here, it's easy to assume that Kansas City is just Kansas. It's mistaken as Kansas all the time. But locals know there's Kansas City, Missouri, and then there's Kansas City, Kansas. They share a name, sit right next to each other, but in almost every meaningful way, they function like two entirely different cities. Because they are. The split runs deeper than just geography. These are two separate governments, two tax codes, two public school systems, and two very different takes on what day-to-day life looks like. And if you're relocating here, that state line can define everything from your search to your lifestyle. Missouri tends to get more attention, and for good reason. It's home to the cultural core of the metro. Downtown, the Crossroads, Westport, Brookside, the Plaza. These are the places that show up on postcards. But that's not the entire picture. Head to the Northland or southeast to Lee Summit, and you'll find classic suburban neighborhoods, newer developments, and some of the best public school districts in the region. Kansas is different, but equally complex. KCK is a bit urban, a bit industrial, and more affordable in many areas. But keep driving southwest and you hit Johnson County, Overland Park, Lenexa, Prairie Village. These areas consistently top national best suburbs list with strong schools, newer homes, and higher price tags to match. So no, this isn't just a question of Missouri versus Kansas. It's urban versus suburban, new versus old, charm versus convenience. And for a lot of families, the decision comes down to one thing: schools. So let's start there. For families with school-aged kids, this is often where the real decision starts. When people say they're looking at Kansas City, what they often mean is the surrounding suburbs, because that's where the highest rated public schools tend to be. But the nuance here matters. On the Kansas side, Johnson County is the standout. The Shawnee Mission, Blue Valley, DeSoto, and Olathe school districts consistently rank among the best in the state, and in some cases, the country. Blue Valley in particular gets a lot of attention for its high test scores, college readiness, and modern facilities. It's a major draw for families prioritizing public education. But that reputation comes with trade-offs. Homes are more expensive, property taxes are higher, and competition for certain neighborhoods can be intense. Now, on the Missouri side, it's more varied. Kansas City Public Schools, the district covering most of the city's core, has faced challenges for decades. Some families do navigate it successfully, but many opt for charter schools, private education, or simply look outside the district entirely. Personally, this is something my wife and I are experiencing right now firsthand. We have two boys in elementary school here in Kansas City, Missouri. Last year, we made the decision to move our older son into private school because he has some sensory sensitivities and he needed a different environment. Now, this was the right call for him and for us, but now we're facing a new decision. Do we keep both boys in private school long term, or do we start looking at suburbs with stronger public options? It's a crossroads that many families in Kansas City find themselves at. Whether it's driven by needs, costs, or long-term planning, the question of do we move for schools is one we hear over and over again. Now, further out on the Missouri side, districts like Park Hill, Liberty, Lee Summit, and Blue Springs are strong contenders. They offer well-rated schools, newer homes, and in many cases, more space and value for the money compared to similar homes in Johnson County. So if you're relocating with kids, don't just choose based on the state line. Dig into the districts, tour the schools, because the right fit might be in a place you haven't even considered. let's talk money, because the cost of living between Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas can look pretty similar at first glance, but the details tell a very different story. Housing prices in both cities are generally lower than the national average, but Kansas City, Kansas tends to be more affordable overall. That said, some of that affordability comes with trade-off, like older housing stock or fewer neighborhood amenities. Now, on the Missouri side, you'll find a wider range. There's more urban infill, more luxury options downtown and near the plaza, and more established historic neighborhoods. But prices can vary a lot depending on where you're looking, from Westport and Brookside to the Northland or Lee Summit. Then there's the tax picture, and this is where it gets complicated. Missouri has lower property taxes but higher state income tax. Kansas is the opposite. Higher property taxes, lower income tax. So depending on your income, home value, and where you work, your net cost of living could shift significantly based on which side you choose. But on the Missouri side, especially in Jackson County, there's another factor that you can't ignore. In 2023, the county went through property tax reassessment that sent shockwaves through the community. Some homeowners saw their home values double on paper, with tax bills jumping 40 to even 100% in a single year. I was one of them. The appeal system was overwhelmed, and the process raised serious questions about transparency and fairness. We're still navigating the fallout, and it's led to investigations, lawsuits, and growing calls for reform. But for now, it's a reminder. Lower tax rates on paper don't always mean predictability in practice. By contrast, the Kansas side, especially Johnson County, tends to feel a little more stable. Yes, the taxes are higher, but reassessments are more consistent and better communicated. And for a lot of families, that kind of stability matters just as much as the bottom line number. Now, beyond taxes, the day-to-day costs can differ too. Things like trash pickup, water bills, and even permitting fees vary between cities. And while those things don't always show up in the cost of living calculators, they absolutely show up in your budget. So, cost of living, taxes, all of that matters. But at the end of the day, where you live, the neighborhood, the pace, the vibe shapes your experience more than anything. And here's where Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas really start to feel different. On the Missouri side, it's full of variety. In the city, you've got neighborhoods like Hyde Park, Westport, Brookside, and the Crossroads, all loaded with personality. Some blocks are quirky and artsy, others polished and historic, but what they share is character. If you want walkability, culture, and architecture that doesn't look like it came off an assembly line, Casey Mo delivers. That's what drew us back when we moved here from Denver in 2020. We chose Kansas City, Missouri because we wanted accessibility, we wanted culture, and we got it. My office is 3 minutes from my house, my kid's school is right across the street, and on a Saturday morning, we can be at the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in just 5 minutes. And the homes here, no two look the same. It's the opposite of where I grew up. I'm from Olathe, and it's pronounced Olathe. I know some of you say Olathe, but it's deep in Johnson County. And growing up there, I rarely left that bubble. Everything was spread out, everything felt new, and while it was safe and easy, the city itself always felt just out of reach. To be fair, you can have that same experience in a Missouri suburb like Lee Summit or Liberty. It really comes down to the lifestyle you want. If you're drawn to urban living with more texture and less predictability, Missouri's side, especially in the urban core, it offers that. The Northland offers newer homes and solid schools within the KC limits, and suburbs like Raymore and Liberty give you that bigger home, smaller town feel without ever leaving Missouri. Now, the Kansas side is a little different. Wyandotte County has deep roots and a stronger sense of community in some areas, but it tends to be more industrial and less polished than what you'll find elsewhere. That said, there are pockets, especially out west near the Legends and the Village West development, that feel more suburban with newer homes, more shopping and entertainment. The value is still there, but it's a mix. No frills in some spots, surprisingly developed in others. Then there's Johnson County, and the reason I keep bringing this up is because this is where a lot of you move to. You got Overland Park, Leawood, Prairie Village, Shawnee, Lenexa, Olathe. These suburbs, they built a brand. Top schools, manicured parks, cul-de-sacs, and community centers. It's polished and predictable in the best way possible. It's also more expensive, but for families who want a smooth daily routine and a little more space, it makes sense. Missouri gives you variety and city access. Kansas, especially Johnson County, offers consistency and ease. Neither is perfect, but both can be the right fit depending on what you're looking for. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and I touched on this a little earlier, is that Kansas City is spread out. Where you live doesn't just shape your weekends, it defines your weekday rhythm. How long it takes to get to work, whether you're spending an hour in traffic or 5 minutes on foot, and what kind of access you have to amenities, it all matters. On the Missouri side, especially in the urban core, you'll find some of the best connectivity in the metro. The streetcar is a great example. It's free and stretches from the River Market all the way down to UMKC. For people who work downtown or near the plaza, that's a big deal. And the neighborhoods themselves, they're some of the most walkable in the region. You can live in places like Midtown, Brookside, or the Crossroads and rarely need to hop in your car. The suburbs, on the other hand, on both sides tell a different story. Whether you're in Olathe, Blue Springs, or Liberty, the lifestyle is more car dependent. Grocery stores, schools, parks, and entertainment are all accessible, but they're not always nearby. You'll get more space, but that comes with more time in the driver's seat. Commutes into the city can range from 20 to 45 minutes depending on traffic and location. And if you travel frequently, proximity to the airport is also something to think about. KCI is on the northwest edge of the metro, and if you live north of the river in places like Parkville, Gladstone, or even parts of North Kansas City, you're just a short drive away. That's a huge plus for business travelers or anyone with family out of state. And while Kansas generally gets the reputation for better maintained roads, Missouri's been making serious infrastructure investments, especially in and around downtown. There's a long way to go, but progress is happening. In the end, it's about trade-offs. If you want walkability and public transit, core KCMO leads the way. If you want easier access to the airport or major highways, the Northland might be a better fit. So here's the real question. Which side is right for you? If you're someone who thrives in energy and movement, who wants to be near live music, galleries, historic homes, and walkable neighborhoods, then Kansas City, Missouri might feel like home. It's ideal for urban explorers, foodies, artists, and anyone who values culture, character, and a bit of beautiful chaos. The Missouri side isn't always polished, but it's got soul. If you're in a stage of life where structure, schools, and stability are top priorities, the Kansas side, particularly Johnson County, offers that in spades. Now, yes, you can still find that in Missouri suburbs like Lee Summit and Blue Springs, but this is where you'll find top-ranked public schools, master plan communities, and the kind of predictability that gives a lot of families peace of mind. Newer builds, larger lots, and a lifestyle that's more mapped out. Of course, this isn't just a Missouri versus Kansas debate. There's nuance within every zip code. There are Missouri suburbs that feel just like Kansas, and parts of Kansas City, Kansas, like out by the Legends, that are more polished than people realize. It's not about picking a side, although it is a little about that. It's about finding the fit that works for your life now and where you see yourself going next. So what's the takeaway? Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas may share a name, but they offer two very different lifestyles. But at the end of the day, we're all one metro. One isn't better than the other. It all comes down to your priorities. Do you want walkability, character, and access to culture? KCMO might be the right move in that case. Do you prefer newer homes, top-tier schools, and a little more predictability? Johnson County or Lee Summit could be your spot. No matter where you land, the key is knowing what each area brings to the table and what trade-offs come with it. And if you're feeling stuck or you just want someone to help you think it through, we've helped hundreds of people navigate this same decision, and we'd be happy to help you too. Just shoot us an email at info@movingtokc.net. Whether you're buying, selling, or relocating across the country, we'll help you find the place that fits. And if you're still watching this and trying to get your bearings, check out this next video here. It breaks down the neighborhoods locals love and the ones newcomers tend to miss. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.